Here.
Pearsall? Here. Hutton? Here. Mendoza?
Here.
McDonald?
Here.
Leahy? Here. Russell?
Here.
Clerk equals present.
Before we get started, I'd just like to ask that we have no talking or no questions asked during the board meeting. If you'd like to talk, please sign in on the sheet in the back, and when it's visitors' time, you may talk for your 3 minutes. Thank you. Berman Graham.
Hi, David. Hello, how is everybody? Good, how are you? Good, good. So it's been, I think, since December since I was here last. Since then, took a look at the facility plan that was prepared for you, and then the treatment plan also came into the treatment plan. I put together some comments on that facility plan since you were in here. I don't know if anybody had any questions on that. I mean, in general, we agree with the findings of that facility plan and the cost estimates looked appropriate, looked like what we would come up with if we had the facility plan. So nothing real out of line there. I did have a few things that I noted that are potential items if you're looking to save some money, which I think you are, that, maybe, could be considered as a way to reduce some of the cost on that a little bit. But we're not talking about major changes, right? I mean, it's going to be an expensive project and it's just a necessary project. So then I was also asked to prepare a design agreement for you as well, so that I believe you should have as well. So it's long. I apologize for that, but when we get into the bigger projects, we use the standard EJCBC contract for that, and it's like 70 pages long. So just to give you, I put together a proposal letter that's in the front, which kind of just summarizes the work that we would do. And the scope of services with that, and then the actual agreement itself follows that. And that agreement is a standard form. It's developed by the Engineers Joint Contract Documents Committee, and to make sure that we're not like trying to slip anything into an agreement or something that's this long, it's hard to see any changes. And really, if we're adding something that's bold and if it's crossed out by the standard, it's actually crossed out, but it's still there, so it makes it easier to review. And definitely, I mean, if you're okay, if you want your attorney or anything to review that agreement by all means, we can do that. So I guess I'm just wondering if you guys had any questions or want me to explain anything for you tonight.
Do you guys get the email I sent, right?
Yeah.
I haven't read all of that,
Yeah, with 81 pages.
but yeah, I never seen it too.
Yeah. It's definitely long.
I have one quick question. Do we need a permit before any of this starts? Do we need a building permit?
You do not before anything starts, no. Getting permits will be part of the process.
Is that something the village would do, or what do you do?
So we would do the permit applications, if there was a fee associated with the permit in the village.
Basically, what's the fee for something like that?
I don't know what a building permit would be here. I mean, does the county issue that, or does the city issue building permits, or how does that?
I don't know.
The city does? Okay, so, I mean, if you have a building permit fee, a lot of times if the city's issuing that, they just waive that for themselves.
Do you have without me looking through the 81 pages, what was your grand total?
Yep. So our total was $968,000. So that would include preliminary design, final design, and bidding. So it'll take us up through where we have a contractor for the project, but does not include any engineering as for during construction. So that would be a different at that point.
So how much more could that be then?
Probably a similar amount.
Another 900?
Yeah, yep, probably, but there's some, it kind of depends on how much how much you want us to be on site during construction and things like that, so there's some plus or minus to that, but rule of thumb is, we probably see about that same measure as 3,000 for construction.
So 968 times 2.
But
And did you have a retaining wall in your bid?
the retaining wall.
Did you say that, Aaron, did you say there was a retaining wall that you didn't see in
That
it?
was the only thing that I caught looking through it, that I noticed wasn't on there, which is MSA's.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, not specifically, I mean, if a retaining wall is needed, we'll design a retaining wall.
But it would add.
It wouldn't be, no, it's
Oh,
part of
okay.
that, part of that fee. I mean, some of that, like, it's in the floodway, so we know there's going to be some back and forth with DNR as far as making sure what we build is permittable there. We know we're gonna have to do some modeling to make sure that we're not causing a rise in the floodway with improvements, and that, in order to get no rise there, we might have to do some shaping or some retaining walls or something to make that site work. And that, I mean, that's all just part of our design. Whatever we have to do to make that work is included in that.
Okay.
So you're gonna need a permit from the DNR also, correct? So that's 2 already?
Yep.
Any others that we have to get any from? Corps of Engineers?
Corps engineers we will communicate with. I don't think we will need to get a permit since we're not in the water itself. But definitely DNR with the floodplain and with the wastewater treatment plant. There's 2 separate DNR permits. And then there'll be a stormwater permit as well for stormwater runoff during construction.
Is there a retaining wall down there now?
No.
And can we put a retaining wall in the floodplain? Because that displaces the water, which FEMA has a real problem with.
I mean, it's already built up,
Like a berm?
so it'd just be something that you would have to get a permit for.
Okay. But they would allow it? Because I know a lot of places can't put a wall up in the floodplain.
Yeah, we have to prove to them with the model that the improvements are not going to cause the floodplain elevation to rise. So,
And because it'd be going towards Pam's or Bobby's if you displace the water either side. Okay. Thank you.
So on that $968,000, if we give that to the lawyer and he finds any other discrepancies between the two, can we assume that anything that wasn't included from SAs is going to up the price?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they find, I guess.
Okay, just asking, I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's just a...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, our intent is that it's going to cover everything to get you through our time to do the design and bidding. We're going to give you a contract, including the permitting. That our intent is that that's all included in there.
Awesome.
So, you know, if the lawyer finds anything, a lot of times what the lawyer's looking at is, like the liability or the insurance requirements, like that kind of stuff. There's often will be questioned on more than price. The lawyer
Okay.
doesn't seem to care too much about what the price is, they just want to make sure the city's protected.
Gotcha.
And our intent is that the contract protects both parties. But obviously every lawyer is a little different on what they want to see for protections. So if there is anything that they want to see changed, we can definitely consider that and then let you know if there be a change in cost for those changes or not.
Awesome.
Do we have to apply for a new license for this plant? New sanitation license?
So what you would have to do is get a new NPDES permit.
So that's 3 now.
Which, yeah, would have to be for the new facility.
Well, that's no matter who does
But
it.
I mean, that renews every 5 years anyway, so you're.
But if you can't get one, then you can't build a plant, correct?
Well, if you cannot get one, yes, but that one, there'd be pretty low risk of not getting that one. Really, the floodplain is probably the biggest, the riskiest permit would be the floodplain. So that would be one of the first things that we would start looking into and making sure that before we got too far down the line, that we're sure that a floodplain permit was going to be issued for this.
And that would be the same for MSA too. They would have the same. So So what's your total between the two separate figures? You said 968, 968.
Yeah, the two for design and construction. Yeah, you can assume, I mean, at this point, construction services will probably be a very similar number to that 968 for design.
So what's the total?
So, that'd be, I'll tell you. Be about 1.936.
Million?
Yep. And of course, that's the engineering. So the construction would be, you know, we would expect that it's going to fall very similar to what was shown in the facility plan, which is, or something, if I remember right.
So what is this 1,936,000 paid
That would be
for?
the engineering.
And the construction is an additional,
Construction and the construction engineering. So
this is everything.
everything for engineering, everything for us.
And how much is construction?
Construction, I believe the estimate was like 10.8 million.
That was after the forgiveness, I think it was 14.64.
Oh, that's the 4 million or whatever, 5 million you can get forgiven?
How was it, 30%? That what it was, 30%?
Yeah.
So best case scenario total out the door is about 12 million,
Yes.
up to 14.
Yep. Yep, probably in that, right, 12 to 14 million range.
Thanks, Lucas.
All right, yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Ahead.
All right, it's my turn. I'll go to the podium over here. I'm Sarah Fossminder with MSA. Thanks for having me tonight. I think the only update that I want to share with you regarding the wastewater treatment facility project is just a little update on where we're at with funding. At a previous meeting, we had talked about applying for grant funds through Eric Sorensen's office. So MSA has had several conversations with Nadia Cortez, who works with Eric Sorensen's office, about potentially getting Albany on the list for a community-funded project. MSA has submitted a pre-application on the village's behalf, and it is sounding very promising. In conversations with Nadia, we shared the cost impact to the community, and it is looking like it's going to be an eligible project. So the next steps towards building a case, I guess, and make sure we're high on the list for that community project funding is to collect letters of interest and support from the community. So what MSA is doing to facilitate that project and just make it as easy as possible for the community is we're going to draft a template for the village, something that you can distribute to the community. And anyone can write a letter, individuals, groups, organizations, businesses in town, anyone can write a letter of support. So that is the next step to really be well positioned for that funding. Any questions on that from me?
I don't remember what was MSA's out the door total.
So,
Engineering, construction, everything, start to finish out the door, what's the total?
sure. Yep, so this document, hopefully you still have it, I've passed it out a couple of times. That gives the total capital cost, and what we came up with is 14.6 for a total capital cost. I do have the breakdown with me if anyone would care to see that. So the construction subtotal, so that's construction only, is 10.6 million. So when we say it's a total capital cost, That means we're including every possible project cost. So the village has that for your planning purposes. We're not leaving anything out. So added to the construction subtotal of 10.6 million, we have included inflation, contingency, design engineering, construction engineering, legal, funding, administration, and that all boils down to a total project capital cost estimate of 14.6.
And I'm not sure if you know, because Jason was doing the marina, but where are we standing on that? That money went out a long time ago.
The marina, I believe we're still talking with the funding agency and resubmitting. I think we're resubmitting that project on the village's behalf to try to get additional funds with that updated cost estimate. So Jason will be able to give you an update on that soon.
How long ago did we put that money out? Do you remember, Pam, for the marina? A couple of years?
I understand.
You would think we'd see something
Sure.
happening.
Well, the reason it's not happened so far is that the waiting, all the pricing went up, so now we would have to throw more money in. So they're trying to get us extra funding.
I mean, even if you brought a potted plant or something, at least it looks like we're doing something after about 2.5-year wait of our money being
I agree.
put away. I mean, if we kept the money here, you're getting interest off of it. It's in their bank, getting interest off of it. Or did we not pay them anything? Absolutely nothing?
Yeah, we paid them to do, to go through and figure it out and come up with an idea and the planning. So we have to put money out for them.
A couple, 2-3 years ago.
I'm not sure exactly the date, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll get you on an update on that. As soon
Okay,
as the
thank you.
information is available, we'll find that out. But everyone care to take a look at the wastewater cost breakdown? It is included in the project plan, but
Yes,
it's
please.
large and
Did
cumbersome.
we make copies of it?
we have copies of it.
Yeah, I've got a couple scribbles on here, but.
Yours, uh-huh.
Real quickly, these letters of support, they go to you or do they go to the village or?
They would go to Eric Sorensen's office, yep.
So you have to have mailing, just mail it to him, right? Correct?
We'll figure out the logistics, yeah, but they'll be basically an attachment to your grant application.
So we could put them in with the utility bill on the month.
We did that with the lead, because I went around all the businesses and they signed the form and Tara was,
Mr. Walters.
yeah, Tara was with me. And so, yeah, we went around all the businesses and you guys gave us a template, like you said, a letter and
If you preface that with, the more of you actually filling it out and turning it in, the better chance we have of getting a grant. More people might fill it out then. Because we didn't get the best response for the lead.
Did you guys get a number by chance of how much is coming out of that grant?
No, there are really no details that have been released in terms of amount or timeline. Yeah, all they're saying is it's going to be a quick turnaround.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, we need to get on it. So
Okay.
we'll get you that template as soon as we can here. So we
Okay.
can get the rest.
Anybody else?
Any other questions on the wastewater facility? Of course, I have Jared McClure is here with me tonight also to talk about your street permits.
Thank you. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Jared Fluer. I'm a project manager with our roadway team. I've been talking with the village about the 2 LPF grants that we received through the Illinois DOT. So I met with Aaron, Jack, and Nick a couple times over the last 2 months. to look at the scope of the two projects, making sure we can define what the project limits are for your Church Street grant, and then also for your project in the downtown along Illinois 84. So we had some back and forth trying to figure out what limits go in which grant. Kind of move some lines around to make sure it makes sense with the two different projects based on expected costs, and then also kind of what's expected from IDOT when they're reviewing those plans. So we came up with the scope of those. We started working on contracts, and we prepared the two DOT contracts that look like this that I presented to the village. And then I also prepared just like a quick 2-page update. And the point of this was just to kind of give you a very high-level walkthrough of that contract, because this contract is quite different than anything you've probably been used to, since it's a DOT standard contract. But essentially, just going through it real quick, the intent of those two grants, so the one was for $430,000, the other one was for $150,000. And essentially what those two grants get you are shovel-ready projects. So it pays for all the preliminary and final engineering for the two. I described what in IDOT's terms PE1 or preliminary engineering is versus PE2, just to kind of help you understand. It's a little bit of a different process working through the DOT project development. So I tried to outline that on here as well. But then I also got into the costs and the funding strategy, just to kind of help you guys see the full picture and kind of how that project will progress. So as I mentioned, it pays for the engineering, it'll get you a set of plans, but it does not get you to a completed project. In order for the village to actually build these, you're going to need another grant. And for Illinois 84, the likely grant that matches a project like that would be the ITEP grant. So that's the Transportation Enhancement Program. That pays for like sidewalks, trails, or any type of downtown streetscape project. And that grant is typically a max of $3 million, and it's typically an 80-20 match. However, the last cycle, they actually did a 80-10-10, or 80 federal, 10 local, 10 state. So we anticipate something similar coming back with that. However, street lighting can be a big cost on a downtown project, and that actually is only paid at 50-50. So the village would be responsible for 50% of any electrical and street lighting in the downtown, if that's part of the project. Typically, the ITEP grant comes out in fall of even years. So this fall is an ITEP year. Odd years are the Safe Routes to School years. So just to kind of give you an idea, those come out every 2 years. I outlined some anticipated village costs, what a typical downtown project like this could cost the village with their matches. So I put that on the back of the page there. It could be anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million, depending on what the village actually decides they want to do with the project. A lot of those costs can be with street lighting. You know, street lights can get pretty pricey. So just wanted to kind of give you an idea. There's a lot of decisions that the village will make throughout the design process that will ultimately impact what the costs are. And we would help guide you through along the way to get a project that's realistic for the village. That's kind of the goal, trying to understand what you guys are expecting. And Jack and Aaron and Nick all kind of gave an idea, like, really need to shoot for that bottom end. We know the village has very limited resources. So if ITEP is the route that the village goes, that project looks like this. And then if the DOT comes back with another round of local, like the LPF grant, that pays 100%, the scope of that project could look quite different if they're gonna pay 100%. So that's where we would be working with you throughout the project development, knowing what the funding source is to get what the village wants within the dollar amount that the village wants to pay. So that would all be further defined as it progresses. Also got into just explaining the standard engineering contract and how the invoicing works. So the one contract is a cost plus fixed fee contract, and essentially what that means is it's hourly based on a DOT formula. So any hour that we put, they calculate what the actual rate of the engineer's hour is, et cetera. So it's an estimated fee. So if we end up using less, you only get billed for what is actually completed in the design contract. The other is Church Street. That is a specific rate. What that means is it's very similar. It's just hourly with the standard hourly rate. So it's simpler, which IDOT allows on smaller projects. And then the invoicing with the DOT. I apologize, Jack, if any of this is too into the weeds and repetitive, but I kind of explained this to them and they appreciated it, so I thought I would kind of let the whole council know and just be transparent with it all. But it's a reimbursement program, so essentially once the invoice comes in, the village approves the invoice, sends it to the DOT, and they reimburse the village. However, in this case, the DOT said they're actually going to write a check to communities up front. Don't know exactly how much it is, but they talked about like 50%. They might just cut you a check of 50% of your grant to put in your accounts to kind of help. And then as you start depleting it, then you can start requesting reimbursement to kind of keep the cash flow. So since it's state money, they seem like they're going to be very flexible with the program. I also looked at the project schedule and put what those could be. Church Street, for example, I mean, really, if there was funding available, Church Street, you can build that next year. It's pretty quick, there's not a whole lot of hoops to go through. But the Illinois 84 project, since we're anticipating you going after a federal grant, that's going to be a much longer process. Preliminary engineering and everything typically takes at least 2 years to get through because you have to go through their environmental reviews. So contaminated soils, historic review with your downtown, and then everything that just comes along with that. So I put those two timelines down there, but really it all depends on the funding. You know, you don't have construction funding yet, but when that comes through, that schedule can be redefined as it progresses.
Can we get a copy of that you just were reading from?
Oh, yeah.
I sent that to everybody in email.
Oh, is that in that giant 81-page email?
No, I sent two prior to that, revolving around this topic.
Oh,
You should have a copy of that.
okay.
You can have my copy though.
All right, thank you.
I don't need it anymore. So really the next steps, the village has it on the agenda tonight if you choose to take action on the two contracts. Once those are approved, they'll go to the DOT and the DOT will start preparing the joint agreement. And that just outlines how the reimbursement of funds will work. So essentially, the contract for the engineering is village MSA, and then the joint agreement is a contract village the DOT. So it's like a three-party contract, and it's just describing how the funding and payments work.
Have we given any money to you yet for any of this?
No.
Okay, so that's what we're voting on tonight?
Yeah, the money's coming from what we got from the grant.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I believe that's everything I wanted to at least touch on. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions on it, on either project.
You said the downtown, that would be between what avenues?
That's also in that email I sent you.
It's about, we talked about modifying the downtown, so like South Park Street, I believe, is the southerly limits up to 2nd Avenue North. And then Church Street essentially starts at 4th Avenue North, and we extended those limits, if IDOT approves, which we think they will, all the way to, what street is that, 6th Street South?
Avenue.
8th Avenue South. So we got it all the way that far. So that was kind of a back and forth when we were talking with Aaron and Nick about how far can the 150 get you. So we were able to basically do all of Church Street and the side streets connecting to Illinois 84. And then with 4th Avenue North, it also goes up to, it's one block beyond Church Street. So there should be a map in the email that Aaron sent out as well, showing it. Quite a large project area for the two. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief. Police Department? Chief?
Yeah, we have to, we got the bill for the Durango. And Tim has it, I believe it's 1255.95.
And what is that for?
Apparently the radiator thermostat housing gasket, and for these hoses and labor.
Did you figure out the transmission issue?
Actually, the radiator broke and that's what the transmission fluid came out there.
All righty.
So,
Now it's back 100%. If we want to turn around and sell it now, we can.
That's exactly correct. That is the plan,
Okay.
to get rid of it ASAP.
Who pays this, to rip all the stuff off?
So, actually, we're gonna touch on that later.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. We won't have to pay anybody.
okay, cool.
So I have a motion by Tim McDowell to pay Allen's Automotive for the repairs of the 2014 Dodge Durango in an amount of $1,255.95. That's second.
I'll second.
Russell,
Yes.
is that a yes?
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Tim, can I have this, or do you need it back?
Yeah. Take another copy.
Thanks, Chief.
Tim, have anything else?
Later. That's all we have for now.
Maintenance?
Yeah, I just wanted to address some things about the water fund here. I believe all the trustees got my email and Jack. What I'm suggesting is a multi-phase increase and have us absorb a little bit of the rate shock that is going to be coming down the line. So an immediate increase of 20%. Our current flat standard for 3,000 gallons is $36.85. That would bump us up to $44.22 immediately. We're running about, I would say, $55,000 in the hole right now. If we watch our P's and Q's for the next 2 months, I think we can end at about $20,000 in a deficit. Now the 20% is just the first leg of the phase increase. I'm suggesting 15% at the beginning of next fiscal year and 10% at the beginning of the following fiscal year. So that would bring rates up to effectively, after the third fiscal year, about $55.94. In my email, I think I made it pretty clear that we do have to accept some of the responsibility of this, of letting it go this long, and I don't think we can shock our customers that hard. All of my estimates are pretty conservative because it's on the base rate. But we're also increasing anything over 1,000 gallons, or everything over 3,000 gallons, any 1,000 gallons over 3,000. So that effectively brings it up to 840 if this passes immediately. 2027 fiscal year,
brings it up to 966, and then 2028, 1063 for any 1,000 gallons over 3,000. Effectively, next year, we can cut our deficit in half. We're not gonna run $75,000 in the hole unless something catastrophic happens. So if we can reproduce this budget, which no budget reproduces year after year, but we can cut that in half, what we're projected to lose. The next year, we're back at basically surplus. So I'm suggesting this so that we don't rip the Band-Aid off and saddle our customers with too much at once. We do have pretty good reserves. I'd like to keep those, and as nice as it would be to just pass it down the line to our customers, I think we've waited too long to do that. So I think, yeah.
I have a question. I know we put like $4 away on the water bill.
That's correct, that's still there.
What do we use that for?
It goes into our revenues, into our water sales revenues.
And can we not touch it?
It's just a service charge. It's included in this, or not in this, but it's included in our budget, in our revenues.
But we can't tap into that if we
do.
need to?
It is.
Oh.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Lloyd's got a question right there.
No,
No?
No.
Okay.
I was just wondering if we could, if it's like the cemetery thing where you can't touch it,
No, we do not have a perpetual fund.
Okay.
If we do end $75,000, at a $75,000 deficit this year, we'll be at $300,000 to start our fiscal year in the water fund reserves. So we're not in horrible shape, and we can take a little bit of the impact of this. And we can slowly, over time, rebuild those reserves. And we are saving money in other places too. We're not calling contractors every time we have a water leak. No. Yeah, I hope to get rid of Dan entirely from both sewer and water, water and sewer, I suppose. It's already out of water.
On your license, look,
July, by certification.
for certification, I said license, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so I expect to pass on the 5th of June when I take the Class 2 wastewater. And then they work a lot quicker than drinking water, obviously, people aren't drinking it, so. Anybody else?
Yeah, you're saying effective immediately, and then for the next fiscal year, which technically, the next fiscal year starts May 1st. So,
I'm sorry, it would be of 2027, which would be the 15, 2028 would be the 10%. Yeah.
Anybody else? Thanks, Nick. All I had was the correction pay ratio. Mitch doesn't want to do it no more because of what's going on, so just gonna step out of this.
So do we need to accept his,
The other one, how far?
do we need to do anything with that officially?
No, good.
so just what?
Second one is discuss and take action on an MSA professional service agreement with wastewater treatment facility.
I think we need to table that till next meeting.
Yep.
Give us a chance to sort out the last part of this.
and
Just
check
my-
on the
just-
funding.
just my opinion,
I mean,
yeah.
our funding is what we
Yeah,
got in the bank.
Right.
You don't want to open your wallet and have moths fly out.
Work.
Because I'm having some technical errors with this new computer and it's saving the right things. January meeting minutes have already been approved, so that should have been February saved, like I had, but it did not. So, just number 3, the amendment of the minutes of the special board meeting held on May 13, 2025.
Can you refresh my memory on what that even was? I mean, May was a long time ago.
Yep, so we need to amend motion 4 to have it state the reason for the closed session.
I did not say employment of employees, we got turned into the Attorney General.
All right, fair enough.
I just didn't know a long time ago.
I know. Okay. Unless somebody's gonna make that motion.
Building permits.
Just two of them that are on there.
Anybody wants to see
One's for the building, and the other one's for the deck. If anybody wants to see them, Jesse, get copies of them.
Here, start.
Have a motion by Purcell to amend the minutes of the special board meeting held on May 13th, 2025. Second.
I'll second.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes?
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Razzle,
Yes.
Motion carried. Go to finance budget.
Did you do building permits? Did you?
Nope.
do Anything? No. Okay, so everybody's thoughts on the rates,
Four.
what Nick proposed?
Are you talking just water or sewer too?
That one was water.
Okay.
I guess my issue with it is, I have a problem knowing that we are letting this go for 2 more years in the hole. I mean, our finances. I just think that at some point, we have to be responsible, and, I mean, we can't do this in our own homes, so I don't think it's enough.
If we sign this, can it be amended later on? If we find that it's not
Yeah,
working
you can
out?
always change the ordinance.
Just wants more money.
Yeah, so it costs us more money.
What was it?
Right there.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
In the ordinances, he did have a blank one. So if you guys want
I
to,
just,
I just don't feel,
either.
I feel like it's being responsible, letting this go on for 2 more years. I just don't, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because Shirt did send me 3 of them. So one is blank. So if we want to fill in our own. And the other one was the 4422, the first 3,840 per 1,000 gallons after the 3,000. And then the other one was the one that Nick had sent. So we do have blank one if you guys want to do that.
What are your guys' thoughts?
So Nick is already going up $8. What are you thinking it needs to go up?
whatever it takes to stop the bleeding.
Personally, I feel bad the old board didn't do it.
Absolutely, I do
I
too.
mean, we need to shoulder some of that blame that we didn't do it for 4 years.
I agree with what he said about that. We should accept some of the responsibility of it.
I have a motion by Priscilla to raise water rates per ordinance 833, 2026, 20%, 2027, 15%, 2028, 10%. Also overage fees, 20%, 27, 15%, 2028, 10%, effective February 2026. I have a second?
I'll second it.
Razzle,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Hutton,
No.
Lady,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then we need to discuss raising the garbage rates. Right now, we're losing 30 cents. So we're going to raise it to 30 cents.
Raise it 30 cents? To what is it then?
I think it's 20.03 right now, so it'd be 20.33.
That is a firm number? Because I know you talked about $21 before. That's what I'm
Yeah, well,
asking.
we talked about going to just an even amount, but it's 30 cents that we're losing, so we'll do it.
And that's the break even.
I have a motion by Priscilla to raise garbage rates 30 cents effective February 2026. Second?
Second.
McDonald,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Lady,
Yes?
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Razzle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Discussed doing, but we didn't have ordinance for the wastewater.
Yes.
We just need to accept the ordinance, or do we need to do the whole one?
What is that one?
So we voted on the wastewater, $4.97, so it's
So there's a blank one here, and then there's the one filled out. So the basic user rate, there shall be, and there's the minimum charge at 32.75 cents per month shall be applied to all users whose water consumption does not exceed 3,000 gallons per month. The basic user rate of 40 cents per 100 gallons shall be applied to all users' water consumption in excess of 3,000 gallons per month. That's for basic rate users. Non-metered residential users, basic user rate will go up 40% per 100 gallons shall be applied to all users for water consumption in excess of 3,000 gallons. And the flat rate charge will allow a maximum of 6,000 gallons per month and shall be $38.75 per month.
Isn't that what you just did? To up the,
So sewer's gonna go up to 38?
We already did it, we did it, we voted on the 495 and raise.
Okay. And is that gonna be a step-up program like the water?
No, that's just, yeah, right now, just one time.
Okay. I thought we were talking about doing that to help ease the burden of a giant sewer bill when we build the plant.
It'll be gradual, but we didn't have them do it in a step thing.
Oh, I thought Nick sent something out with that.
So one is water use, and then this is wastewater service.
I thought Nick really wanted that. That was a step-up one.
I think that was just, explaining it, right?
Okay.
I think for motion three, we have to have a specific date. It can't be just February 2026. So either,
today's date?
all in agreement of today's date, February 2025.
Today's the 20th, yeah. Everybody agree to that? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well,
I
nobody's
was shaking my
saying
head, sorry.
I'm like,
I can't hear your heads
Yeah.
rattling. Thank you.
Have a motion by Casal to approve ordinance 834 for wastewater effective February 25th, 2026. Second.
Second.
Brazo,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Herzl,
Yes.
Hutton,
yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Has everybody looked at the treasurer's report or anybody? It was finished on it.
I haven't-
So we
I
didn't have
haven't
to
seen it.
approve
I haven't seen it.
It's in the office.
I haven't seen it either.
They didn't do that.
I mean,
Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I don't think you're gonna find anything in there that's
Do we
probably.
do the motion? If it doesn't go, it doesn't go.
Have a motion by Casal to approve 2025 treasurer report. Do I have a second?
Well, this says, and the bill for Stock Valley to print. So does that
That'd be
need to
separate.
be on there too?
That'll be separate.
Oh. So we don't need to look at it, is that what?
You can look at it, I mean, it's, I go grab it, but I don't know if she's got it out in there or not.
Can we just leave that on there then?
There we
Yeah,
go.
sure.
Mondays. coming up
Okay.
fast.
You want me to leave both things then?
Yeah.
Because that-
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we need to approve the bills and the timesheets so she can get these filed.
I have a comment, I guess, on this. Discuss take action bills and timesheets from July 1st, 25 to 2/1 of 26, which is 7 months. I have looked at some of them, not all of them, because it was not that thick when I was here. And I don't know if any of you guys have came to look at timesheets and/or bills, but
Not all of them.
I think this probably should stay on here too and give everybody time to, I don't feel it's good to approve something sight unseen, I guess is my I think everybody, I know it's hard to get down here, especially when we work, I get it, but,
Well, it's something we need to get done so things can get filed instead of just
right.
piling. But if you want to wait, we can wait a minute.
Well, like I said, it's only 5 days. And if you guys can, somebody can get in here.
I'll come down Monday morning to the rest of it.
I mean, you can vote, whatever, but I'm just saying, I think.
I can come down. I'll come down too.
You don't need to leave. No?
So,
No, that's it.
police,
Yeah, we'd like to give power to act to Jason to purchase a police vehicle. I don't know where the
What is
budget's
that?
at.
Oh, you don't
I
know the
haven't
budget?
gotten the answer yet.
Well, we got money in there.
But how much? These are way different prices.
Well, I was thinking a cap of 25,000. I think Blue Book on the Durango's 95.
That's, so speaking of the Durango, I found a place in Chicago that just sells police vehicles, used and new. Chicago Motors will give us $9,500 for that Durango, which would be a trade-in value on whatever vehicle they have on the lot. I've looked at other places, they have the best equipment and the best prices also. To get a reliable used vehicle, I would say the ones that I've seen and printed out are, you're gonna be between 20 and 25,000. That's sticker price. These vehicles that I am getting come with everything in them. We won't have to pay for lights, sirens, anything like that.
Do we have to take the stuff out of the Durango?
The only thing that we will have to take out of the Durango is the radio and the Axon in-car cameras, because those belong to us.
Okay.
But other than that, that's it.
Can you take those out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So Raycom put them in, so they can take them out in probably 2 hours.
Okay. And with the cost, anything with the cost is on that?
No, you're-
Do we have 25 in the police?
So what we got, 9,500 trade-in, you said, right?
So
Yes.
you're not wanting 25,000 plus the 9,500, are you?
No.
No.
Okay, so 2,500 subtract 95, or 25,000, sorry. Okay. So not to exceed,
15,500.
That's as long as we go through Chicago Motors, correct?
Yeah, and the other place that a lot of departments use is another place in Chicago, and they're gonna give, their quote was $6,200 for the Durango.
do they have, the place that you, the 9,500, do they have anything you're interested in?
These aren't from there.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, yes.
I like that one.
They currently have 4 vehicles that fit that price range, that have all the stuff in them.
Problem is, they go so fast. So by the time, he looks at it and then the next day it's gone. So that's where we want approval to buy.
I would think you should make it 16, because you've got title and license in there
Right.
too. So I would make it 16 or 17
I
to
say,
cover that
thank you.
too.
How does that work? We don't pay,
Taxes, right?
yeah, we don't pay
So it'd be
tax, I'm
title
saying.
License and title too.
Yes. Title and license.
Probably,
you
it
still-
depends on where you go. If you have to work, you have to learn to,
Mhm.
it's a safe offer.
So not to exceed 16, is that what you're thinking?
Sounds like a safe
I
offer.
said 17.
Add to 17 just to cover it, yeah.
I say 17. You don't have to spend it.
Yeah.
so when you take radio out of the Durango, Raycom comes and does that, they'll have to put the radio back in the other one, or is that gonna have a radio?
No, that radio will have to be put in the new one.
Because that's our,
The Axon will put the camera in, because we're gonna be actually renewing our contract in maybe a month or two. So we won't have to pay for the Axon camera to get put in, because Axon is coming to put in new equipment in the Tahoe and whatever vehicle we have besides that.
Are you looking to move on this quick? Should we be putting Raycon on the agenda to get that taken care of and have them come and take that stuff out?
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been waiting for this to get it fixed so we can get it back here.
Yeah.
Right, Jesse?
Well, they-
It's been there for almost 2 months.
All right, never mind.
They would. I think Raycon would be over 1,000 to take it out.
Well, then we don't have.
But we had the 16,000 in the
Yeah.
budget.
The police budget is the one that has actual heaven.
We should have a lot in there. I mean,
You haven't had a count.
we haven't had a salary for a police officer in how long? Do you guys think 16,
Yeah, you're
17?
30% of your budget.
17?
Because we don't have to spend it.
Well, that,
Got a motion by Ken McDowell to give Jason Frank the power to act for the purchase of a police vehicle not to exceed $17,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Razzle?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Gary?
Utilities.
That's me, yeah, security fence of the sewer plant. Now that we have wastewater services charged, I brought this up a month and a half ago, but the chain link fence on the east side of the plant is, they took it out for some reason to either clean the beds or something out there, and it's laying on the side out there, so the actual sewer plant is not secure. Which means anyone can get in there for vandalism, theft, injury, or worse, death. The fence, chain link fence is actually laying on the side. If we could get somebody to put it back up and then just wire it in, so.
Did you ask the maintenance people?
I got the maintenance request order. I'm gonna turn this in tomorrow morning. So it took me a long time to figure out how does orders get done in here? How do I get something presented to somebody on here? But I finally found it on here. And I was gonna run it by each and every one of you, because
Did you put the signs on there too? Because you wanted signs on.
I wanted signs on it too, but I'm gonna do one thing at a time and just get that chain link fence up there.
Okay.
The
The poles are there too.
The poles are there, just get that thing up there, so.
Our
You
guys
got-
should be
you
able
got
to
a
do
big-
that.
You've got a big cheese box out there, which is a dumpster, so anybody can, oh, I wonder if there's any copper or anything in there. They go around the fence, and then when they look there, then, oh, let's look in the sewer department.
Yeah, there was tools on the floor and everything. It could have taken.
I'm getting there. I just want to get that chain link fence back up and a couple restricted zone signs on it. Keep out.
Mhm.
You want to fast track that on the folder in there when you got that QR code, use the.
I'll talk to you that a little bit later here.
Okay. I know he gets those right away if you use it, so.
I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. Maybe tomorrow or Monday. But right now, it's just open for invitation for some type of vandalism. And, you know, we're trying to baby the sewer plant enough that we have now, that we don't need any accidents and fatalities or injuries down there. But tomorrow, I'll turn this thing in with all the correct addresses and the concerns with it. So, with that.
Thank you.
Elliot.
I put approving additional hours for locus on here because in order to do anything moving forward with anything, we have to be able to get internal financing. Books aren't balanced, we all know that. I talked to Jackie, she says we're balanced through November. that's where it left off. I haven't had any more updates since. I don't know where she's at. I know Janet comes back middle of this month, but I don't know how fast we're gonna move along with this. And I just wanted to know if you guys thought it was a good idea to approve more locust hours and have them balance the books to get us current. And then when Janet comes back, she can,
Do we have any hours left?
I don't know, that's why I had to ask somebody, I don't know.
They don't balance our books for us, do they?
I thought that's what they did.
Janet and Angie balance our books for us.
Well,
But you don't
so this is
know
one
what's
I'm
in
asking.
it,
I don't- I don't-
So I don't think it's locust
You don't
hours
know
that
what's
we
in the
need, I think we need
police or-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
day-to-day
I was gonna say.
operations hours.
Okay. Well,
I don't really think it's locust, I think
Okay.
it's,
well, whatever the case is, I just want to make sure we get,
Janet versus Locust,
On
we need
this.
some more help.
because we should be able to call locust if we have a question or I have a
Okay.
problem or.
I think we pay for
we have
them,
a
though.
Contract with them.
okay.
But I don't, I mean, is it just per time? We don't have a, like a bank amount, do we?
Yeah, it's just,
Per time?
Janet did confirm she comes back middle of March, and that she doesn't want to get back in here, and she wants to be present for the bills in April, so she can make sure everything's being done the way it's supposed to be done. But I just know that like, when we eventually get to the point that we're gonna decide what we're doing with the wastewater treatment plant, we're gonna hit a
But
stalemate.
then we can't really vote
We're not gonna-
on Monday,
We're not gonna go anywhere.
because Janet wouldn't be back here to figure out the money situation before that.
I mean, we could vote on who we're gonna go with if we decide to do that, we just can't go any further than that.
We can't sign on the dotted line, yeah, we're
we
gonna
can't
pay
do
this kind of
anything.
money if we don't know if we have it.
Sarah, where's that at if we decide to go MSA's route? How far do we go before we hit a wall with that financing part?
Sure, so MSA has put together in a low interest loan application, I forget what it's called, it's a rural water, national rural water low interest loan, that's $200,000. And I mean, that's ready to go as soon as you make a decision, you can sign and get that submitted, so that's a head start on the fees. Yeah. I know I passed along a contact for a municipal advisor, Anthony Maselli from Spear Financial. I don't know if you've reached out to him, but he could potentially help you secure more interim financing.
You have all those numbers?
Thank you. Oh, that was all I have for that, is, I didn't know, like I said, I was unaware, of I thought Lucas actually balanced the books.
Ask us to approve more hours for Janet, see where we're at and approve more hours for Janet.
That sounds more appropriate, yeah. Thank you. So I didn't, never actually dove into what they do, so. So this next one is just a discussion, I don't know. I've been back in the village for 7 years. So I have a neighbor that reached out to me, not, I wouldn't say we're friends, he's a neighbor. He reached out to me because I'm a board member. And he wanted to ask me about a situation from June of '24. I don't know if we talked about it here or not, but it's up on 704 Ridge Street. He had an issue with electrical. And what it ended up being was, it was the wire coming from the pole to his meter mounted on his house. There was two of them. One of them run into the house. I don't know what happened. I don't have the details of it, but it stopped working and it had to be replaced. I guess initially Joe Carroll came out, was gonna do it, and then was told not to. So it kind of hit a standstill, and then he went ahead and hired somebody to do it, because he was told that Joe Carroll wasn't going to do it. And he waited a little bit, but he came back, I guess he reached out to Jack, and then he reached out to me because he didn't get an answer right away, so he wanted to know what he could do. He's wondering, just a question, before anybody jumps me for it, he wants to know if it is the homeowner's responsibility to
Is
take
it
care
underground?
of an underground line from the pole to the meter mounted on his house.
That's his.
So I had a few people reach out and explain that my concern here is, unless I'm missing something, it's not outlined in that code book the right way. Like, everything in water and sewer is outlined great, wonderfully. Electrical has no, like,
Did he
clean
build the
cut.
house?
He did not build the house. I found out that he moved in there and he bought the lots around it.
But it was underground when he bought
It
it.
was underground when he bought it. So, but I've had a few people reach out and tell me that they've all paid for their own underground wires. So like.
I did.
So that's fine. If we go ahead and, you know, say that's the case, that's the way it's supposed to be based on what we all know or what anybody at this table knows of the history of Albany. I mean, we've been here longer than anybody at this table. Then we'll leave it alone, but he wanted me to at least bring it up. And I also want to just advise that maybe we should figure out some way to get that wording. Because I'm telling you, look at the electrical section of our code book, it's not in there. And I'm not saying that anybody's gonna come after us legally, but like, it doesn't outline what we do, but it also doesn't outline what we don't do. So I just feel like going forward, maybe we should
Yeah.
find some way to reword that, explain that, like if we cover it above ground to a certain point, we're not gonna cover it underground. It was $1,800 he paid out of his own pocket that he was hoping to get back, and I told him I'd bring it up. So,
Did anyone turn that into insurance when it happened? You know?
I don't know. It was when Jerry was here, it was when Jerry and Mike were here.
Well, it
So,
would
I
have been
don't-
whoever was in the office to turn it into insurance.
I'll have to ask, I don't know for sure. This is all I got, so,
Well, what made the underground line go bad?
I don't know.
Was it a dig-in, lightning strike?
It looked nothing, I do remember the night that it happened, nothing was going on. There was no storms, it was a regular old plain winter's night. Nice, I think it was a nice summer night, actually. Wasn't excessive rain, wasn't no storms.
Nobody driving in his yard with a heavy
He
truck.
called me up and I was actually out in the driveway when he called me and he's like, you got any power issues? I said, no. I said, are you? And he said, yeah. And this is all stemmed from that. Nobody else had issues of any kind at all. So it was specifically his line from the pole to his pole. That's what ended up getting replaced. So I just, nobody really, what do you know? I mean, all the years you've been here, what's the story, you know? I mean, is anybody?
Well, it usually is from the pole to the bottom, to the top connects of the electric meter is all the utilities responsibility.
See, and that was one of the inputs I got. And I didn't promise this man anything. I just,
From what I
told him.
understood, the village pays for above ground to your house.
And that's what I found.
Oh, below
Okay,
ground is on you.
First it was that, and then I heard what you just said, and then I heard that again. It was just a back and forth.
And
back
if
and
your
forth.
cul-de-sac or whatever says, we don't want all them wires, you're going to have to put it underground if your village says that, then yeah, the village would pay, but we don't have that.
So I guess, like I said, where I'm at with it is, it's not clearly outlined. So what you were saying, Chuck,
Not
you
that.
can say that all you want, it's not in the code book.
Well,
It's
so
like,
there
you know,
there
it's
are more
like-
houses in the village like that. The Pheasant Ridge up there, the new circle behind the
Yeah.
church, they're all underground.
I know, but I don't know who paid for what. You know,
They-
according to what I've talked to, everybody I've talked to so far that I've spoken to says they paid for underground cables. So this is not outlined anywhere. Like, I really feel like we should do our due diligence and get it in there.
We should put, we
To
pay
make
for
sure
above
it's-
ground
That
and
way
we pay
it's
for below
clearly
ground.
outlined, there's no more questions, and somebody calls about this, we can go to the code book and say, yeah, it's right here in this section, this page. You know, so, that's all I have in that part.
What I liked about it, because I saw it, it was Tri-City Electric did the repairs,
Yeah,
which gives us a good idea. If we need repairs on electrical distribution systems, there's another firm to call. Because none of our maintenance men are qualified to work on electrical systems.
they sure are. Well, that's all I got for that. And then the other ones is basically the approving the signing of engineering agreements for Church Street, streetscapes, with everything that Jared talked about. Just the next step to move that along with the money from the grant for the engineering agreements with IDOT. And the one after that, authorizing the mayor to sign a joint agreement, is basically the formality that will come back after IDOT accepts the engineering agreements. In order to keep that process moving, they'll have to get another signature given, and as opposed to having to get together and do a meeting, I'm just explaining now, that's what he told me would happen.
Is this costing us any money up front?
No, this is the money that's coming out of that grant money we got.
But it's not gonna cost us up front, but it is gonna cost us.
Well, we have to repair Church Street at least.
We can, you know.
I don't care about foo-foo lights.
Right, no, and we, like you said, we can hit a point where we decide what we want to spend, and
Mhm.
we can eventually just decide that, I mean, we don't have to, I mean, essentially, we have to proceed, we don't have the money, we can't proceed, so. It's just to get the ball rolling with this, we have to get the,
We're not gonna get grant money if we don't have this
Yeah.
part done,
Yeah.
the engineering done.
so, just move the ball along, so.
I mean, what'd you say that I got, that was like 50/50?
It's
For
50/50
just the
for-
street lighting. Everything else, like streetscape related, like sidewalk stuff, is 80/20. and or could be 80, 10, 10. So 80 federal, 10 state, 10 village.
That all sounds good, except for the fact that we don't have any money. So,
Well,
I mean-
we're gonna keep going after grants along the way to try to assist with that too, anything new that comes along too, right?
So IDOT's been talking about coming out with a second wave of the LPF. So the grant you just got, they said that it was such a hit that they were already talking to see if they can bring it back.
so we could potentially get more.
Yeah, and no guarantee that's 100%, but they could come back to 90. But yeah, maybe a second wave to pay for construction.
Do it until we can't afford it, and then,
Yeah, I mean, this, in order to even keep going, this is where
as
we're
long
gonna.
as it's costing us zero at the moment.
Yeah, and it's not, it's coming out of that grant money we got for both of the projects.
Have a motion by Mendoza to approve signing of engineering agreement for Church Street and Streetscape project. Second.
All right. Go, continue.
Leahy,
Yes?
Mendoza,
Yes.
McDonald, Cotton,
Yeah.
Russell,
Yes.
Pearsall.
Yes.
Motion carried. Anything else there?
Just that other motion to take care of that second order. And Jerry, how'd you explain that? That's just a formality to keep the process moving?
So our contract is with the village, the joint agreement is the village's contract with the DOT, explaining that they will reimburse you up to that grant amount.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect.
And how the payments work in legal terms.
Gotcha. So,
Have a motion by Mendoza to authorize the mayor signing joint agreement with IDOT. Second.
Second?
McDonald,
Yes.
Cotton, Leahy,
Yes?
Mendoza,
yes.
Pearsall.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Motion carried. Cemeteries and parks.
I'll wait till Monday.
Ordinance.
My first one was the water bill, and that was that $4 that Nick already explained. My other one was, I'd like us to purchase some lights for our barricades or get some new barricades with lights because they're up and down the streets. Kids are out now, and if there's some street lights out or some streets are darker, you can't see them barricades till you're on them. I mean, they need some new reflective tape and some lights on, at least some of them.
There aren't any on.
Yeah, there probably was at one time. I mean, I don't know if we have any lights for them or not, but we need at least a couple with lights on them. My other one was the weed spraying. I know Nick said there was a class somewhere, but I also looked and there are online classes. He checked and he said they were like $300, but that's probably how much the class is that we'd be paying for them to go to, and a lost day's wages. I mean, not a lost day's wages, but they aren't here. So I think we should look into doing it online, sooner the better, because it's gonna warm up and the weeds are gonna be starting.
He just told me today that he found where they are starting to do them online again, so he's gonna go ahead and,
He's gonna do some of them,
Yeah.
oh good. And then number 4 was the underground company. I was wondering if the people, the people that are putting the fiber down, if we could have a representative come and tell us the plan to fix everybody's yard. I mean, you have people trying to sell their houses on Bluff with it looking like that.
Well, it's still ain't repairs because it's not our responsibility to fix it, it's theirs. So
No, it's theirs. That's why I
things
said
are-
we need
Things aren't
them.
getting fixed and people are thinking that,
Yeah.
we're just sitting on our hands. It's
Yeah,
not-
they're
we're waiting
thinking,
on
why
them to
isn't the
fix it.
village fixing this? And it's like, no, they have to, and it's like, I'm on over in Clinton, would do a short block, fill in the holes, fix the yard, seed it, put some straw down, and then move on. These guys are ripping up a whole street and leaving it a mess with giant boulders and cut deep into the yard.
You got contact information for them?
I I will call him tomorrow.
Okay. Text me some contact information so I can pass it along, email,
Yeah, because-
phone number or something, because I mean, you know, maybe they're not gonna come and do it, maybe the residents can start expressing their concerns
Yeah,
to
it's
them.
like, I feel bad for people trying to sell their house when it looks like that.
Right.
And then it's not very safe either, like Brooks' old house, I mean, that's like chewed into their hillside, so you've got washout and... My last one was vendors, and I talked to Chuck about this. We used to cultivate relationships with approved, like Home Depot, Ace, Farm and Fleet, approved vendors, and they would bill us. You didn't have to whip out your credit card, they billed you. So that's better for us as far as, I mean, you're assured you're going to get tax exempt, and better for accountability and transparency because you don't have to try to find a receipt, you know, in your truck or whatever, for whatever it is. They're going to bill you. So Jackie will have an actual bill from Home Depot that says what we bought, she'll pay it, and then you've got a bill. I think that's just better than using a credit card
If
all
they
the
still have
time.
them, I don't know if they.
Well, we used to,
Check-
that's what we
check
used
on
to
it.
do. He can call or I can call.
If you want to check.
Home Depot, because I see they use Prairie Lumber, Home Depot, Farm and Fleet, Ace. We can call them and see if they still do that. Because obviously the village is gonna pay the bill, you know, the town isn't gonna skate on a bill. And it's just better for an audit standpoint too. You don't have to go, well, let me dig out this little teeny receipt. It's right there on a big giant bill. So, that was it.
I just want to interject for a minute for the visitor section. I'm sure you guys have seen the communication, via email, the communication. We need to allow our visitors 3 minutes to talk, uninterrupted. If we're going to interact with them, we need to make sure Jesse pauses the clock so they're allowed their proper time.
Okay.
Anytime we're speaking, cuts into their 3 minutes, and I'd rather not see us get turned into the Attorney General's office again.
Okay.
So just let them talk. You know, maybe jot down what you want to ask them, and when they're done talking, you can ask them questions, or just make sure she pauses the time so they can talk.
Okay.
Just a thought. Yeah, I want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yep.
Lloyd?
Thank you, Jack. First off, $4 that was brought up, that's for water tower payment. That money's not supposed to be touched. It was pulled out of savings and put in a CD so we'll earn more money. If that's been tapped into, that's not right. That money by ordinance was put in there, $4 for paying the water tower, okay? And I believe MFT money can be used for streetlights. Last I heard, that's a fact, so that might work out with MSA somehow. All right, my question is, who's been going over these bills? It's on the agenda tonight to approve the bills, but who's been going through them? Who goes through them? Jack, do you go through them, or Pam, do you go through them? Who goes through these bills monthly? Who?
Anybody can go through them, any board member.
Well, my question is, Carrie had brought it up, sales tax. We've paid a lot of money in sales tax over the last few months, people whipping out their credit card. We shouldn't be doing that. We're tax exempt. That's money that we might as well light on fire. I believe there's a way to recoup that. I'll look into it further and talk to you later, Jack. And then also, so my question is, if they're gonna go through these bills tonight, Pam, as the budget officer, you all know that I wrote a FOIA request wanting to have copies of credit card statements and the receipts. Well, I was shorted, I don't know, 41 receipts totaling $2,400. Charged on credit card bills with no receipts. So I'm wondering how anybody was going to approve those bills tonight when there's no receipts. I mean, Jack, several of them are yours. Nick House and Gay had 27 or so. I think the chief had a couple. They're just, we need to account for this money. And the auditor's going to demand that we account for this money. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Do you buy gas, Jack, for your car personally?
No, when he started, I gave him my card because he didn't have a card.
He didn't have a card?
No, sir.
I understand that. Fred, he was using it to get gas
Yes.
instead of,
Does he not know?
we have our own gas, right? Yeah. So,
And then
He brought up the speed on that, from what I was told.
all right.
the only ones I used my card for, I gave it to Jackie when we ordered stuff for the office. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, doesn't Jackie have her own card?
Well, I have $948 charged to you with no receipts, $1,194 to Nick with no receipts, and $268 to the chief with no receipts. I'm just wondering, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying, if someone requests these, they certainly ought to be available. I go through my credit card statements every month, you know, I've never found anything wrong, but it doesn't mean there's not something wrong there. I believe that's all I
Only a
have.
quick question. I was
Yeah.
told by the treasurer when I inquired about missing receipts, that all the missing receipts were accounted for. How current the ones he claimed were missing?
Pam, have you found them?
She's found some of them, yes.
She's found some of them.
I didn't know like how,
There's one whole.
what date, like as, is that current as of like today, like that's what's missing?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, just making sure, that's like I said, she told me that there, okay.
Yeah, so, sorry,
It's okay.
sorry to make you hang like that. And I don't have time to address why we didn't address this, water fund, but I'll be fully prepared to address that Monday in my 3 minutes, okay? And that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Floyd.
The vendor thing I was talking about, they need some of that. Because it's an extra bill.
New business? Old business?
The small children's signs are up there on the corner of, the church, I can't talk, Bluff and, 6th.
Put them up today.
Yeah, doing good.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for that.
We also got the sign taken down at the post office.
I was wondering, I had a semi up there on Riverview a couple days ago. So obviously, making the corners, we had to cut through yards a bit. And I looked at the bottom of my hill, and I didn't realize there was a no semi sign because it's so faded, you can't hardly see it. And the next one down was really faded. The ones out front here are newer, and those really stand out. He should have done better, even without the sign, but, I mean, once you go up the hill, you can see that's too narrow, but, if we could get some new no truck signs, huh?
Order a couple new ones?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, 'cause it's like-
think, as a truck driver by profession, I think a good idea would be, new ones and make sure right below the picture of the no truck signs, that you add a small one that says strictly enforced. It adds a little bit more
Okay.
weight to the sign. If
Yeah.
they know that it's strictly enforced and they go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I think that
It
would
kind of
be
makes you
that.
second guess looking at it. I mean, not everybody will, but there's a lot of drivers that see that and be like, what do I do? You know,
Uh-huh.
so,
Well, by the time he well, he could have turned around where he was.
yeah.
Like, I didn't notice it because it's so faded.
I'd check the storage thing first to see if you have some up there before ordering.
He might have a few of them floating around.
Closed session?
That looks like the room is getting a little worse. I know.
Our motion by Saul to adjourn meeting at 7 p.m.
Last day we were down here.
But you'll have to sleep with it up.
Secretary, thanks for coming.
That idea. Appreciate it.
Nikki?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Kuratolo? Yes. Razzle?
Yes.
Now that we was town to.
That's,
That's all.
I didn't match you, that would cover that. And then,
It's a separate line item. This is how much you're paying per thousand.
I have a printed if you want.
we don't pay $9.
Yeah.
You have one printed that was getting downloaded there. You have one.
One cappuccino, Starbucks, have a cappuccino, Starbucks,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yes. No, I get it.